I do have to say that this is a early recording. This is like definitely a roll with the punches type of day. I just know that we just got to keep moving forward somehow, some way. Vote Save America, it was like a huge, huge help. I didn't know that all my decision making would go into this. Like, I felt liberated. It was great. I just didn't want to move in fear. I didn't want to not do something. I want to have a choice. I don't want to feel that a choice is taken away from me, that I don't have a choice at all. So I feel like that I'm like 90% there, that I feel like I've done all I can. The 10% is that I just couldn't donate. It just took a very long, hard time to get where we are, and just to know how fast that can be taken away. So I did what I can. Y'all got my vote. Welcome back to another episode of I'm Just Sharing with Shaunda. I am Shaunda. Hey guys, hey, it's Thursday. I hope everybody's just rolling with the punches type of Thursday. I think that's all I have to say about Thursday. Before I get into my podcast episode, I wanted to say I posted a while ago on my story that Chris Calendar was going to be on this episode that was going to air today, but unfortunately we just wasn't able to record. But the episode or the recording is definitely on the books, like for sure. And I just hope that everybody tunes in to that episode when it comes out, because it's going to be a good one. Like, it's really going to be a good one. I just know it. Like, it's going to be a good one. So turn on your notifications. Yeah, so I am a first-time voter, and I voted. If you are on YouTube, I got my sticker on, and I got my sticker on, so it's good. I feel pretty good, guys. I feel pretty good. I'll just get into what I wrote down that day, or technically, I think this was like the day before. So this was October 30th, 2024 at 5:34 in the PM. Peak and pit of my day. Peak. I can't get over the fact that I voted on October 29th, yesterday. It was great. I did get a sense of liberation. It's wild to me that I felt that my voice was being heard, even though I wasn't speaking to anyone there. But I did feel that I was doing something for myself and felt moved to do it. I did a bunch of research and prepared myself for who I was supporting. I'm a first-time voter and proud. My time was now. I got my sticker for it. It's like I want a sticker. There was no pit for that day. And then I said, I'm grateful that I'm doing things for myself, that I'm doing things that I feel is right, that I feel is good for me. So it was just like a really cool day. I just got off of work. I went straight there and got into the line. Oh my gosh, the line. I stayed in it. It was cool, whatever. And it's just so funny to me because when I think about like the line and me standing there, I was looking at people close, I'm like, some people are just getting off work too. But then I feel like the people who just had the day, I feel like, they just probably, out of sight, out of mind, and they just do on with whatever. But it was so hard because I was judging the book by its cover. And I'm like, oh yeah, but you wore red today. Oh yeah, that person wearing blue. I'm like, yeah, I know who people going for. And then I had to like look at myself. I looked down at my outfit. I had like on a pretty like neutral outfit, like black slacks, like a nude and like black shirt or whatever. Like it was nothing like crazy, but you couldn't tell. But the pen that I wanted to use, it was blue. And I'm like, look at that. Look at that. With going into it, I think it was a pretty interesting experience because I just felt like, I just thought that I just had to be a private person. And then also like I wanted to feel like incognito. For some reason, I just didn't want people to know that I was a first-time voter because in my mind, I was like, this just seems, I just felt like it's a little bit embarrassing that you're a first-time voter. Right? This is just in my mind. This is just how I thought. Like, it's just a little bit first time voter. The other side was like, girl, you a first time voter. Like, be proud of that. You're doing something. It was just the whole thing. So, like with being in there, I knew that with the line that I was in, and the tables that were set up, they had like a little table, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they had some more tables to go around. So I'm like, all right, cool. I was directed to go to number 2, so I went to number 2, and I'm like giving him my information. He said, can you give me your first and last name? I did, and then he was just like, yeah, when's your birthday? I gave him my birthday, and he's like, He said, can you tell me your name again? And then, spelled it out for him this time. And you know how the N's and the O's, N's and O's, the N's and the M's, you got like M as in Mary or N as in Nancy, just so he knows. I was like, yeah. Then I felt like this had to be a little bit more private because of where his reaction was. He said, don't. He gave me like a little 1, and then he just started to write down. He said, so is this like the beginning? He gave me like 4 letters of like the start of my first name, then like the 4 letters of my last name. And he was just like, don't tell me the year, but is this your birthday? And I'm like, yeah. And he was just like, well, I can't find you in here. And I'm like, and he said, is this your first time? And I was like, yes. And he was like, oh, well, you got to go over to that table. And then I was like, that table? He's like, yeah, you're going to go over there. So then I'm going back towards where the person was directing me because, I'm getting into the line that he was telling me to. Then the person that directed me to go to number 2 was like, oh, well, you got to get in this line. And then I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, the person that, I went to number 2 to, he was like, no, she got to go over to that table. And I was like, God dang it. There goes my incognito. There goes me trying to not be seen. That I'm a first time, like, I got to register, like, come on now. It's like, shit, there goes my whole color. So, like, now everybody knows. This is so funny because everybody was, like, looking at me. But then they was minding their business, but, like, half of the line was looking at me because, that was, like, a big thing. And I'm like, shit. But I get to the registration line. I get in, like, the person that was there, she was, like, super great, very, like, friendly, nice. It was, like, the beautiful. She talked to me just for a little bit. And she just talked about like when she voted and that she'll just never forget her first time. She told me, congratulations. I said, oh, nice. It made it like real super easy. But to me, it was still something that I just felt like had to be private, like very private for some reason. So she asked the question of like, so what party, are you choosing? What party do you want to like go for? And I'm like, that's how my face was because I'm like, do I have to say it out loud? Like, that's how I was. But I didn't say that, but like my face just showed that. And then I was like, Democrat? And then she said, so you want to like, seemed like I needed a guaranteed answer because it was more of a question than I was like, and I was like, Democrat, go for it. She's like, okay, all right. And, congratulations. And I'm like, okay, great. So with the person that directed me into the, the line, I went back to him and just gave him a little pound like, yeah. It was a good time. So I had to get into the line with choosing what I wanted to like go for, either the pen and paper or like the device. And I'm like, shoot, this is like a little bit tough because I'm like, both seem pretty cool, both seem pretty functional. Like it seems pretty cool, but I just don't know which one. So I asked him, I said, like, and it's my first time, which one would you choose? Like, which one would you go for? And he was just like, well, it just all depends, like, he didn't want to tell me which one he would go for, but he was just giving me suggestions. He said, if you want to have something fast and, if you're old school and you like pen and paper, you can go for the pen and paper one. And I just really thought about it. Like my face the whole time was like, yeah. I said, this is just me thinking. I said, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go with the device. I'm going to go with the, the computer. And he was like, okay. I said, sorry. He was like, no. I was just like, sorry. I really did think it over. And, but I'm just going to go with that. He said, yeah, that's fine. He said, all right. And then he gave me like what I needed. And I got in the other line. And then as I was waiting, I was like, oh, okay. Like, it's cool. Just looking at the kids that were around and everything. And I'm like, this is so nice. And it just made me think, as I was standing in line, there was this little girl that was talking to her dad and was like, yeah, Dad, I was here before. And he was like, yeah. He said, yeah, you were. He said, yeah, I was in my mom's belly. For some reason, I just wanted to turn and just speak to both of them and be like, technically, you were in your dad's balls before you were in your mom's belly. So you were here before when he was voting. I don't know why I just wanted to say that to that little girl, but I held back. I didn't say anything at all. I just stayed in line and laughed to myself because that is what I wanted to say. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. It was just so hilarious. But being in that line and waiting, I didn't feel like, the only thing that I felt anxious about was the registration part and that part and being the first time voter type of thing. So I just felt like I felt like nobody needed to know. I just felt either embarrassed or very pride. It was just in between. It was still cool though, but I felt like very sneaky too, because aside from the clothes thing, like I just wanted to look on, like there's like a little small like look-alike receipt ticket of like who somebody is. So I'm like, I wonder if that person's Democrat. And I swear I was like squinching my eyes just to check each and everybody's like one, but everybody was pretty like to themselves and everything, which is fine. Going towards like the ballot, I knew that before too. I have the Citizen app, and the Citizen app showed that there was like at least 2 ballot boxes that were caught on fire. Somebody put fire to them, whatever, and I was like, French toast, is my ballot safe? Like, is this safe? But it happened in Washington, but it's just like, it's like one thing after another that, to me, from what you see, it just makes you not want to vote, but I didn't want that to stop me. So I think that's why I also chose the computerized one, but then it was still paper that was coming out. So I was just like, shit. Still, I said, I hope my vote is safe. I hope my vote is safe and then make it through. But being in that line and then also sitting down. So with all the time that I went through, because again, the research that was done for me, not just seeing what I saw on like Instagram and seeing like the time is now and like you need to vote and seeing advertisements everywhere of like what party and who's doing who and who to vote for. I was like, this is just so overwhelming. I see why people just don't want to get into it because it is a lot. But this post that I saw that this actor, I forgot her name, she reposted it, and it's Vote Save America. Vote Save America, like really like, I'm not gonna say save me, but it was like a huge, huge help. I took like a Saturday just to do the research on that. And it was like, I want to say I took like 2 hours, and it just wasn't, I wasn't planning on 2 hours like at all. But it's just so crazy to me with Vote Save America. They give you like a nice little like description of like the candidates and what they're going for, but then everything else that's also on the ballot, and then asking like these like certain questions that's going to be on the ballot too that I just never like seen before. I'm like, bro, like I didn't know that all my decision making would go into this, like changing certain like judges to be in there, like from 6 to 9 judges, or like how much money that's going to go into fixing roads and the water and buildings. I said, what? I didn't know I had all this on here. I said, dang, I should be like a politician, lawyer, something. It just makes you want to get into it. But I was like, no, people, they too stressed, gray hair already, like, no. So I can't do that. But either or, the research that I've done definitely saved me time, because when I sat down, the paperwork that I had, and again, phones were off, but the paperwork that I had, it was just all in order from where I just had to choose. And it's just so funny because the device like say you need to read through, click through that thing, because I was like, I already know. I got everything on here. Everything matched up. I made sure everything matched up too. But I was, to be in and out that chair, I was very happy. I double checked, of course, 3 times before I got out the chair. But it was very like quick for me because I've done my research. I definitely came prepared. I didn't feel overwhelmed at all because, again, shout out to Vote Save America, came through for me, which was really good. And at the end, I shook the guy's hand that was standing at the machine that was just guiding me on what to do to just finish it all off. I'm like, I was so happy about it. And then I got the sticker at the end. Went out there. I felt liberated. It was great. I called my sister and just felt like I was like, my voice is heard. I feel great. It just feels really good that like what I just did, I feel really good about it. And then I was like, shit, I gotta stand, like wait for all these cars to go through and be in this line for however long in this parking lot for long. But I did what I did. I said, didn't mind it because I felt so grateful like what I did. Something that was just being genuinely in my heart and actually doing the research on just stuck with me because it just made me think back on like why I wasn't voting before. And, I have to like start off just small with my childhood and being a practicing Jehovah's Witness, that I knew that like with studying, I was told that we just don't vote because our vote is with our God, Jehovah. And that was that. And I'm like, all right, cool. And when my mom stopped going, just as times went, my mom was just like on and off with like going. I was also on and off, as my sisters were on and off going. But then when I was going back, I had to find a reason to go back. And it wasn't for my mom this time. I actually found like the woman that I was studying with, I made her my reason to go, that she was going to be happy that, I got baptized and it was just going to be all for her, but it wasn't going to be for me. So it just wasn't in my heart at the time for both things. So it's crazy because like I realized from what I was saying before when I was younger, like I don't vote because I'm a Jehovah's Witness. And then it turned into I just don't vote. So like it was just a very interesting time on like seeing that, it was just very crazy just to think about it. But a lot of people always ask, well, why don't you? And I just never really like had an answer for it after saying like, well, I just don't vote. But now with everything that I've researched on, I just didn't want to move in fear. I didn't want to not do something because I was like really seeing that the time is now. The time is now because like before I had to think about when Barack was going in office, that I just felt like, we got it in the bag. I was like, he gonna get those votes. He gonna get those votes. With Biden, I knew that, and from what I was told, that it was a very, very close call. Very close call. But I just didn't feel like I needed to do something at that point. But hearing that the time is now and seeing all like the celebrities, and it's so crazy because seeing how the support was before is way different from now, and now knowing that everything is on social media and seeing the difference that there are, singers, actors, rappers, just showing that it is important to vote and that your vote matters and everything. Like seeing all that was just very interesting too, that this is how the timing is now, that you're going to see a lot of social media and a lot of actors and people who just aren't in politics, but they're human beings. Like they're also affected by this as well. It's not just, us, like it's them too, So seeing them also had like a huge like influence, and, just being a woman like in general is just very scary. It's just listening to Tupac and his song, like, keep your head up, women, like you just, I don't want anybody to control me. I want to have a choice. I don't want to feel that a choice is taken away from me, that I don't have a choice at all. So I have to do something now. So I'm just very happy that I did it. I feel like the one thing that I didn't really fully do, so I feel like that I'm like 90% there, that I feel like I've done all I can. The 10% is that I just couldn't donate. Because seeing, I was like, it just takes $5 or whatever. Like, I've just been seeing that. $5. It's every time that I see that, I'm like, shit, I don't even got that. Like, it's been some hard times. I'm like, I paid up all my bills. I don't have $5 to give. So I did what I can. Y'all got my vote. You got my vote. But I still felt good of what I could contribute, and standing in line and doing the research and doing the time, to really feel like I've done something for myself, and not just for myself, for other people too. It's like, it was just hard for me not to judge a book by its cover, by seeing some people who wore red, that I had to have faith that some Republicans might vote for Democrat, and then also say that some Democrats vote for Republicans, that it's just that truth, you know, that people can be influenced in what way. Like, yeah, it's just the whole thing. But I'm just glad that I did what I needed done, because I just don't want to see history erased. I don't want to see my family and the family before me, my ancestors and everything's hard work just be dumped out in the trash. And it just took a very long, hard time to get where we are. And just to know how fast that can be taken away. Like, I understand, and I think that's like what everybody is saying, like, it's going to be a very slow start. Things aren't just going to happen tomorrow, that things do take weeks, months, years, seconds, minutes, time. Like, it just takes time for things to like get in motion. And it's definitely a very frustrating time, but it will happen. Like, it just will happen. But the fact that it just seems so quick, that things can be taken away so quickly, is just very scary. And I don't want that. So I'm really happy that I voted. I'm really happy that I support my girl. That's why I said, I don't know. I do have to say that this is a early recording. So that's why I said this is like definitely a roll with the punches type of day. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just know that we just got to keep moving forward somehow, some way. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of I'm Just Sharing with Shaunda. Please, please, please remember to rate, like, comment, and subscribe on my Apple, Spotify, and YouTube page. You can comment or DM me on my social medias. That you can do. Or if you like to share anything with me, you can email me. And I can share it here, but you can email me at imjustsharingpod@gmail.com. Remember that you will be anonymous, but share it. Yes, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Peace.